And we are back. Isaiah chapter 20. In the year, the field commander, sent by King Sargon of Assyria, came to Ashdod and fought and took it. God told Isaiah son of Amoz, "Go, take off your clothes and sandals," and Isaiah did it, going about naked and barefoot. Then God said, "Just as my servant Isaiah has walked around town naked and barefoot for 3 years as a warning sign to Egypt and Ethiopia, so the king of Assyria is going to come and take the Egyptians as captives and the Ethiopians as exiles. He'll take young and old alike and march them out of there naked and barefooted, exposed to mockery and jeers, the bared buttocks of Egypt on parade. Everyone who has put hope in Ethiopia and expected help from Egypt will be thrown into confusion. Everyone who lives along this coast will say, 'Look at them, naked and barefooted, shuffling off to exile, and we thought they were our best hope, that they'd rescue us from the king of Assyria. Now what's going to happen to us? How are we going to get out of this?'" Isaiah chapter 21. A message concerning the desert at the sea. As tempests drive through the Negev desert, coming out of the desert, that terror-filled place, a hard vision is given me. The betrayer betrayed, the plunderer plundered. Attack, Elam. Lay siege, Media. Persians, attack Babylon. I'll put an end to all the moaning and groaning. Because of this news, I'm doubled up in pain, writhing in pain like a woman having a baby, baffled by what I hear, undone by what I see, absolutely stunned, horror-stricken. I had hoped for a relaxed evening, but it has turned into a nightmare. The banquet is spread, the guests reclining in luxurious ease, eating and drinking, having a good time. And then, to arms, princes, the fight is on. The master told me, "Go, post a lookout. Have him report whatever he spots. When he sees horses and wagons in battle formation, lines of donkeys and columns of camels, tell him to keep his ear to the ground. Note every whisper, every rumor." Just then, the lookout shouted, "I'm at my post, master," sticking to the post day after day, and all through the night I watched them come, the horses and wagons in battle formation. I heard them call out the war news in headlines, "Babylon, fallen, fallen," and all its precious god idols smashed to pieces on the ground. Dear Israel, you've been through a lot. You've been put through the mill. The good news I get from God of the angel armies, the God of Israel, I now pass on to you. A message concerning Edom. A voice calls to me from the Seir mountains in Edom, "Night watchman, how long till daybreak? How long will this night last?" The night watchman calls back, "Morning's coming, but for now it's still night." If you ask me again, I'll give the same answer. A message concerning Arabia. You'll have to camp out in the desert badlands, you caravans of Dedanites. Haul water to the thirsty. Greet fugitives with bread. Show your desert hospitality. You who live in Tema, the desert swarming with refugees escaping the horrors of war. The master told me, "Hang on, within 1 year I'll sign a contract on it." The arrogant brutality of Kedar, those hooligans of the desert, will be over. Nothing much left of the Kedar toughs. The God of Israel says so. Isaiah chapter 22. A message concerning the Valley of Vision. What's going on here anyway? All this partying and noise-making, shouting and cheering in the streets. The city noisy with celebrations. You have no brave soldiers to honor, no combat heroes to be proud of. Your leaders were all cowards, captured without even lifting a sword. A country of cowards, captured escaping the battle. In the midst of the shouting, I said, let me alone. Let me grieve by myself. Don't tell me it's going to be all right. These people are doomed. It's not all right. For the Master, God of the angel armies, is bringing a day noisy with mobs of people, jostling and stampeding in the valley of vision, knocking down walls and hollering to the mountains, attack, attack. Old enemies, Elam and Ker, arrive armed to the teeth, weapons and chariots and cavalry. Your fine valleys are noisy with war. Chariots and cavalry charging this way and that. God has left Judah exposed and defenseless. You assessed your defenses that day, inspected your arsenal of weapons in the forest army. You found the weak places in the city walls that needed repair. You secured the water supply at the lower pool. You took an inventory of the houses in Jerusalem and tore down some to get bricks to fortify the city wall. You built a large cistern to ensure plenty of water. You looked and looked and looked, but you never looked to him who gave you the city, never once consulted the one who has long had plans for this city. The Master, God of the angel armies, called out on that day, called for a day of repentant tears, called you to dress in somber clothes of mourning. But what do? You throw a party, eating and drinking and dancing in the streets. You barbecue bulls and sheep and throw a huge feast, slabs of meat, kegs of beer. Seize the day, eat and drink, tomorrow we die. God of the angel armies whispered to me his verdict on this frivolity. You'll pay for this outrage until the day you die. The Master, God of the angel armies, says so. The Master, God of the angel armies, spoke. Come, go to this steward, Shebna, who is in charge of all the king's affairs, and tell him what's going on here. You're an outsider here, and yet you act like you own the place. Make a big, fancy tomb for yourself where everyone can see it, making sure everyone will think you're important. God is about to sack you, to throw you to the dogs. He'll grab you by the hair, swing you round and round dizzyingly, and then let you go, sailing through the air like a ball until you're out of sight. Where you'll land, nobody knows, and there you'll die. And all the stuff you've collected heaped on your grave. You've disgraced your master's house. You're fired, and good riddance. On that day I'll replace Shebna. I will call my servant Eliakim, son of Hilkiah. I'll dress him in your robe. I'll put your belt on him. I'll give him your authority. He'll be a father, leader to Jerusalem and the government of Judah. I'll give him the key of the Davidic heritage. He'll have the run of the place, open any door and keep it open, lock any door and keep it locked. I'll pound him like a nail into a solid wall. He'll secure the Davidic tradition. Everything will hang on him, not only the fate of Davidic descent, but also the detailed daily operations of the house, including cups and cutlery. And then the day will come, says God of the angel armies, when that nail will come loose and fall out, break loose from that solid wall, and everything hanging on it will go with it. That's what will happen. God says so. Amen.